Have you ever felt like you're just following a script? One that you didn't even write? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on those invisible scripts that run our lives. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can grab the pen and start rewriting your own reality. So let's just dive right in with a big question. Seriously, take a second and think about it. What are those invisible walls standing between you and the things you really want? You know, for a lot of us, the answer isn't out there. It's actually in the stories we tell ourselves. You see, the narratives we carry around in our heads about who we are, what we're capable of, they have a huge impact on our lives. They're like the background programming for our brains, influencing every single choice we make, a lot of the time without us even noticing. And the name for these subconscious narratives, we call them limiting beliefs. Think of them as the mental rules you live by. They're those deep-seated assumptions that stop you from taking risk or grabbing an opportunity or just stepping into your full potential. It's like we're putting a ceiling on our own growth and we don't even realize we're doing it. Do any of these sound a little too familiar? That little voice that says, "Oh, I'm just not a numbers person," or "It's way too late for me to try something new." These are classic limiting beliefs. They're born from fear or self-doubt, and man, they make it almost impossible to try anything big without that negative soundtrack playing in your head. But what if you could actually fight back against these beliefs? What if there was a tool, one that's actually backed by neuroscience, that could help you rewrite those old busted scripts? Well, there is, and it all starts with a little tour inside your own brain. This right here is one of the most important ideas in all of neuroscience. It's the simple way of explaining something called Hebbian theory. All it means is that every time you think a thought or do an action, the brain cells involved fire up, and the connection between them gets a little bit stronger. That's it. That's how a belief, good or bad, gets hardwired into your brain. And this amazing ability is called neuroplasticity. It means your brain isn't fixed. It can actually change and adapt, which is incredible news. It means you are not stuck with your old ways of thinking. By intentionally repeating new, positive thoughts, yep, like affirmations, you can literally carve out new pathways in your brain. And this is where it gets really fascinating. Using brain scans, scientists have actually seen that saying affirmations lights up the exact same reward centers in your brain as, say, eating your favorite food or winning some money. It gives your brain a little dose of pleasure, and at the same time, it helps quiet down the brain's alarm system, the amygdala, which is where fear lives. So this isn't just about brain activity. It actually changes your body's chemistry. This simple practice can boost the good stuff, like dopamine for motivation and serotonin for your mood, while lowering cortisol, which is that nasty stress hormone. It's a total neurochemical makeover. So what's the end game of all this brain rewiring? Well, it's about making a huge shift in how you see the world, moving from a scarcity mindset, which is all about not enough, to an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset truly believes there's plenty to go around. It leads to confidence, optimism, and suddenly you see possibilities everywhere. Okay, so the science is solid, we get it, but how do we actually do it? Let's get into the practical, step-by-step process of rewriting your internal script. To make these things really work, there are 4 keys. First, say them in the present tense. Not "I will be confident," but "I am confident." You're telling your brain it's happening now. Second, do it every day. Consistency is what forges those new neural pathways. Third, you gotta see it. Picture what it looks and feels like. And finally, make them yours. They have to connect to what you truly want. Now, if you're not quite sure where to start, no worries. Here are some powerful ones you can borrow. Things like, "My potential is limitless," or "Every challenge is an opportunity to grow." You can see how these are designed to go head-to-head with those common limiting beliefs we talked about earlier. So theory and science are great, but what does this look like when the rubber really meets the road? Let's dive into an incredible story that shows how a new mental script can change everything in a moment of total chaos. So author Parker Houston sets the scene of this super stressful family trip. And his description of dealing with a teething baby, comparing it to holding an electrified fence, any parent out there is probably nodding their head right now. And just when you think things can't get any more intense, they do. His daughter gets car sick, leading to what he perfectly calls the car barf incident. This is peak stress, the absolute breaking point. Now, Houston admits his default setting is impatience, irritability, But in that moment, instead of just reacting, 2 affirmations he had literally practiced that morning popped into his head. Hard is good, and family is God's school of character. And it's a perfect illustration of the power of this. Those 2 simple sentences allowed him to completely reframe the entire situation. It wasn't a disaster anymore. It was a test. It was a chance to practice being the patient, loving father he wanted to be. His entire reaction changed because he had a new script ready to go. That story is just so powerful because it shows what happens when you have a new script ready for when you need it most. So let's get you set up with one last, super practical tool to help you systematically challenge your own limiting beliefs. This is the A to F model, and it's a brilliant way to do self-correction in real time. Here's how it works. Let's say the activating event is you make a mistake at work. Your immediate belief is, I'm such an idiot. The consequence, you feel awful and don't want to contribute anymore. But now you stop. You dispute it. Is it really true that one mistake makes you an idiot? Of course not. So you create an effective new belief. Mistakes are how I learn and get better. And the result is a whole F new feeling, not shame, but maybe resilience. See, it's a way to walk yourself out of that negative spiral. So, if we boil it all down, here's what you need to remember. Your beliefs literally create your reality. We've seen how affirmations can scientifically, physically change your brain. We saw in a real story how one single thought can change an entire experience. And now, you've got the tools to start rewriting your own script. And as we wrap things up, I just want to leave you with this question. Knowing that you are the author, that you hold the pen, what new story are you going to choose to write for yourself starting today?